Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in football. Can anybody replace the Steve Spurrier Act? Well, one person can replace him today, and that is Chris Dimino from 680 joins us in the studio. Plus, Jeffrey the Ed Schechter just got a whole lot better looking.
Play to Win is being brought to you by Toyota, the Georgia Lottery, and John Foy and Associates. Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal. Today's SEC report is being brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
And welcome to the show. Chuck back from Tennessee last week. Bob Whitfield, by the way, said he'd be glad to show up every week. Your old buddy who filled in for you. Thanks for coming back, though. We missed you.
You did a great job.
Jeffrey the Ed Schechter's not here today. He is Chris Dimino for today. Chris from 680, The Fan, of course. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, Bob.
And, of course, as I said, Nikki is going to take the place of Jeffrey Schechter and give you all the betting odds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's how Jeffrey would do it.
I wouldn't have snapped my hair in today if I would have known I was going to be Jeffrey.
Let's get started. First of all, with the big slate of games in the SEC, a full schedule. I'll tell you one that's kind of off the charts for what people talk about. You know, Memphis is undefeated. Mississippi, Ole Miss goes to Memphis. That'll be a good one. Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State, the big one, of course, Alabama at Texas A&M. Vanderbilt, South Carolina, without the head ball coach. We'll be talking about that. Florida, LSU, another biggie. And Georgia, favored by like 16 points over Missouri. What? But before we even get into those games, Chuck, I'm going to start with you. The head ball coach surprised everybody, Steve Spurrier. First they said he was retiring. He said at his news conference, "I'm not retiring, I'm resigning." Memories of Steve Spurrier, what does it mean to South Carolina?
Well, I think he's a special coach, and he took South Carolina to places that they've never been, Bob. And to me, the disappointment comes in the University of South Carolina.
Yeah.
There had to be a way to let this man go out with dignity and figure out a way to kind of handle the situation without letting the blood up in their faces and forcing his hand to force him somewhere in there to resign and retire.
Right. He may have been hearing some rumblings and said, "No,
Right.
I'm going to do that first." And of course, no sooner had he said that than everybody's talking about Chris Dimino. Who's going to replace him?
Yeah, because now it's tough to replace the guy who's been the most successful at any school. Steve Spurrier, look, I've never rooted for him to win anything, but I wanted him to stick around as long as possible because he's good for our business. There's not a name up there that I think should be up there. It's Tom Herman, who went from Ohio State to Houston. I think if there's a guy who's ready for the big jump, the big boy world of a bigger conference, I think Tom Herman over at Houston might be the guy that I would say could be a favorite, because I know this. He gets in that room, he's going to be able to sell his resume.
All right, we'll see. There's going to be a lot of talk about that, of course, and a lot of rumors flying as to who will replace him, what he calls himself now, the HBC, the former head ball coach. Big game. Florida off to a tremendous, surprising start. Goes to LSU, Death Valley at night. And let's get started talking about that game. And Chris, I'm going to go right back to you. LSU and Florida. And the question I want to know is what will happen to Florida without their quarterback, Will Grier, who got suspended for the season on performance-enhancing drugs?
Yeah, let's just start with this. The young man at least owned up to it enough to go to that press conference and actually get emotional, because he should have been. You let down a whole bunch of people. He knew that. He let down himself. The good news is he'll get to continue to practice. Now they got to play a football game. I think they're in trouble. I think everybody's ready to say that emotionally they'll pick everything else up around him, not necessarily miss him. I don't believe that. I think Florida's got a problem this week.
I think they have a problem this week, and it's two words: Leonard Fournette. With LSU.
Well, you're exactly right. And what you want to do against Leonard Fournette, the most dynamic football player in college football, and he is NFL ready now. He is ready to go. He could run right now. And the key is you got to have 22 swinging arms chasing Leonard Fournette. That's what has to happen for you to run and get after him. You need everybody. You need 11 guys on him to gang tackle him, because he's not going to go down easy. He's special. He's one of those Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Adrian Peterson type of special backs.
Wow. Okay, and Jeffrey is not with us this week, but Nikki is handling Jeffrey's picks. You've been talking to Jeffrey, right?
The Ed Schechter. Do I have the good grip on the Ed Schecter? He doesn't think that Florida is going to pull out this win without Will Grier. He's saying take the points with LSU. 8 points.
You know what? How about this? She makes a better Jeffrey than Jeffrey.
good.
Jeffrey, I hope you're successful out there because, you know, the door may be closed when you get back. All right. Now let's go to our college football showdown brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, and that is Alabama at Texas A&M. I want you to talk particularly on the quarterback battle, and there is an interesting battle there.
Yeah, there is a battle there. When you look at Alabama, when you look at Coker, when you look at Kevin Sumlin, the dynamics of this is Kyle Allen is going to be the key to this game because I believe that this is his coming out party against Alabama. I know Alabama has a great defense, but I believe right now Kevin Sumlin, he develops quarterbacks, and I think this is the next step and a big opportunity to win possibly, but led by Kyle Allen and Kevin Sumlin leading and developing these quarterbacks.
All right, let's go to Nikki the Edge Williams for the pick for Jeffrey.
Oh, that's got a nice ring
Nikki
to
the
it.
Edge.
Jeffrey the Edge did tell me that he's going to go with A&M on this one. He said that it should be a tight game, but A&M should put the points up on the board. Take the 4 with A&M.
All right, now before we go out on our first block, and by the way, we'll be back with the hometown team report right around the corner. Before we go, though, Chris, I want your comment on this. Brett Bielema at Arkansas is, a lot of people think maybe he'll be the next Spurrier because, you know, he's kind of a wild man. Watch this video, and then, Chris, I want to get your comments on it.
Yeah.
Look, he's going after the players.
Yeah, he's got a lot of problems, this guy. One of them is he keeps opening up his mouth. Look, I want the next Steve Spurrier. He's just not as good as Steve Spurrier. Will never be as good. Better win some football games. And that nonsense right there, to me, that's sort of one of those where you go, I want attention. I really need attention. You don't want that type of attention.
All right, coming up, we're going to ask the question, is Georgia Tech's bowl victory string in, or bowl game string in jeopardy? It may be. But first, Mr. College Football is Tony Barnhart, friend of all of ours, probably the biggest expert in SEC football. He covered Steve Spurrier for decades. We asked Tony to do a memorial, so to speak, of Steve Spurrier, and here is Mr. College Football.
Okay, media boys, this is the head ball coach. Want to say to Bob Neal and all those other media boys out there, I've enjoyed working with you over the years, but it's time for me to go on and do something else. You boys hang in there, and I'll see you down the road, and I'll probably be on ESPN before you are. See ya.
We took America's best-selling car and turned everything up a notch. The Toyota Camry. What bold moves will you make? Get a low 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Tom, let's go. We're waiting for you outside.
Sorry, Larry. Just didn't feel the spark today. So many people that should have won but didn't play.
But this is Fantasy 5. It's even better now. There's larger starting jackpots.
And that new cash match instant win. Thanks for the pep talk.
You have got to stop bringing work home with you.
Point taken. Let's go give someone money.
You can't win if you don't play. So play the new and improved Fantasy 5, now with bigger starting jackpots and cash match.
Always set a place at the dinner table for good manners. Stay seated, napkin on your lap, and elbows at your sides. And remember, mealtime is for nourishment, nothing more.
On your mark, get set,
Punch it.
Get the ride of your life in the 2015 Nissan Altima. With blind spot warning and up to 270 horsepower.
What is not to love?
It's really comfortable. It fits to my body.
Nav, camera.
Choose the 2015 Altima with 0% APR for up to 72 months or save up to $37.75. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Nissan, innovation that excites.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
Hometown team report. Let's start with the ailing Georgia Bulldogs, coming off a couple of losses, but they're big favorites in Athens at Sanford Stadium against Missouri. How do you figure that, Chris Domino?
Throw the number out. You know, Chuck Smith can tell you better than anybody. When you have the stench of 7 days and 2 losses back-to-back, you got to get back on the field. When this game is done, analyze, overanalyze, psychoanalyze. It doesn't matter, win or loss. That's as simple as it is for Georgia. You win this football game, you just move on. You lose this football game, let the games begin about job security for a whole bunch of people over in Athens.
Oh, yeah, I think that's, I'll say amen to that. And now let's go to Nikki the Edge Williams, replacing Jeffrey this week. Who are you and Jeffrey picking in this game?
We think that Missouri's having a hard time getting some scores up lately. This should be the kind of game that Georgia should be able to run a score up on, give them the 16 points to Georgia.
All right, Georgia. And Georgia Tech also, of course, really struggling. Only 71 yards of rushing offense for Paul Johnson team. Unbelievable against Clemson. What about Georgia Tech's offensive line and running game?
Well, right now they don't have explosive plays. Georgia Tech, the key is when your quarterback is your most explosive playmaker on offense, it's a problem. He can't run it and throw it all the time. That's the problem. There's not enough balance there. No big plays. They are aeronautically inept, if that's a word.
I like that. It's a new one. It is now.
They are aeronautically inept. They can't throw the ball downfield, Chris.
I might steal that one at some point. Might be
aeronautically
as early as tomorrow.
Can't throw the spherical, the elliptical spheroid very well. Okay, I thought I'd throw that in too. Okay, Nikki, how about the pick?
Well, I'm wearing orange because I'm eating my words. Clemson last week, Tennessee, everything. Jeffrey thinks that Pittsburgh is going to take this game 3.5 points, and he wanted me to be sure that I told all of you, I told you so. Wait until next year.
For Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
exactly.
wait till next year.
You do a great job. Better than Jeffrey. It's unbelievable. Okay, and now we're going to go to Nick Cellini, who is a friend of all of ours from 680 The Fan on the 68 Seconds with 680. And Nick Cellini, my question for you, can Tech continue their streak of going to a bowl?
Very interesting question, Bob. Why do you pose this to me? What can Georgia Tech do as far as making it to a bowl and keeping that streak alive? Well, you can only win the next game that's in front of you. And this is going to be the linchpin to the rest of the season. What can you do against Pat Narduzzi and Pittsburgh? They only have one loss, and that was to undefeated Iowa. Now, I know what Tech did last year against Pitt. I know that they ran them out of their own stadium up there in Pittsburgh. It's not going to be easy this time around. Paul Johnson said it's going to get back to basics now. That's going to be the theme for Georgia Tech. After that, Florida State comes to town. Virginia Tech. You've got a trip down to Miami, and then, of course, the Georgia Bulldogs. So this will not be easy for Paul Johnson and company. What can they do against Pittsburgh this afternoon? That will be essentially what's going to happen the rest of the way. If they win, they make it to a bowl. If they don't, they do not.
And by the way, you want to win some money? Here's the way to do it. You get a gift card if you can be the expert in our Red Pepper Taqueria You Be the Experts Challenge. Go to our website. It's playingtowin.tv. The winner of the best pick, the picks will be up on the website, wins $100, second place $50 gift certificates every week. Red Pepper Taqueria You Be the Expert Challenge coming up. We will have fantasy football and tell you how to make a little of this weekend. Stay with us.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickety poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickety poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Hey baby, did you pick up a Harley-Davidson scratcher for me?
Yeah, it's in my purse. No. Didn't stop for gas today. I'll get it tomorrow.
How'd you get the chandelier down so fast?
I thought you got it.
You can't win if you don't play. Play the Harley-Davidson Scratcher and win up to $250,000 or a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle.
American owned,
family operated. Since 1829. No bull. Just lager. From America's oldest brewery, Yuengling.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services. Home comfort or plumbing issues? We can fix that.
All right, time for our fantasy football report. Who's hot and who's cold? Adam Brown not with us this week, so he has sent me the information, though. So you pay close attention, particularly on these projections for mid and low-level value starts in your weekly leagues. You'll see up at the top there's Julian Edelman, but I want to point out two particular players on there. DeAndre Hopkins, double digits targets and multiple 100-yard games. He is a good play. Also, the running back for the New York Giants, Shane Vereen. By the way, Beckham and Randall have hamstrings. Vereen is just a monster catching the ball out of the backfield last week, so he'd be a good play. Now let's look at the others here and look at Larry Donnell with the New York Giants at Philadelphia. Donnell's a tight end, some hurt receivers there, so he's going to get a lot of targets, probably 6 to 8 targets this week. He would be a good play, as are Brian Hoyer. And let's look at the defense now. Down at the bottom, the Broncos are playing at Chicago. Be a good defense to pick. Double-digit fantasy points last week. And remember, the Broncos also had a defensive touchdown. The other defensive team to play this week are the Packers. They're always really good at home. And last week, remember, Phillip Rivers in San Diego gave up a pick 6, and that is the fantasy report. Adam Brown will be back next week.
Is your house uncomfortable? We can fix that. Get the Estes Whole House Comfort Checkup and eliminate hot and cold spots in your home. If you save energy, you save money. Go to EstesAir.com and book your appointment today. Estes Services, your man for all seasons since 1949.
You're going to deny everything, and if you're lying through...
When you're hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company will try anything to deny your claim.
Deny, deny, deny. Whatever it takes, we're not paying a dime.
They'll stop at nothing until they run into the strong arm.
Don't let the insurance company decide what you deserve. Call me now. I'll fight so you don't have to.
Get the upper hand. Get the strong arm. Call attorney John Foy and Associates today.
We've got unbelievable deals on our remaining 2015 inventory at Mall of Georgia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Take $8,000 off MSRP on a Ram 1500 and pay just $24,205. During the Jeep Celebration event, get a Jeep Cherokee Limited for only $28,575. Take $4,150 off MSRP on a Jeep Renegade, yours for just $17,535. We're Mall of Georgia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Shop for your next vehicle anytime at yourdodge.com.
Is your heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Estes Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
Today's NFL Report is being brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Time for the NFL Showdown. And the showdown on Sunday this week is in the NFC South, and that is Carolina going out to Seattle. It's going to be a tough, of course, Carolina, the big threat to the Falcons in the NFC South. How do they do out there? Particularly, how does Carolina's run defense work?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. Carolina's run defense, it's fantastic. But the key to this is going to be Russell Wilson. He's the brains for Seattle. He's got to make the decision on it, whether he's going to hand the ball off, because Carolina has two ferocious defenders, Charles Johnson and Coney Ely.
Hard place to win. How about Cam out in Seattle?
Look, I like Cam better than a lot of people. I think Cam Newton's a guy that wins you football games. They're going to get their defensive game record back, and Luke Kuechly sooner instead of later. This is an undefeated football team. I like Carolina in this game. I think this is their statement game for the entirety of the season. Go to 5-0, but beat Seattle in Seattle.
Okay, Nikki the Edge. Carolina's getting 7 points. How are you and Jeffrey picking it?
Jeffrey and I talked, we decided Carolina's getting these points. Give the 6.5 Carolina. Seattle can't push them around. Carolina.
I'm loving
Carolina.
this. Better Jeffrey than Jeffrey. It's
love
incredible. All right, how about the Patriots and Colts? And Chuck, got two good quarterbacks here, Luck and, of course, Tom Brady.
Well, you got a legend, a guy who's won rings, and one who wants to be a legend. And so the bottom line is Tom Brady's still the best quarterback in the game because he wins rings. Andrew Luck get in line with all the rest of the slappies that want to be championship quarterbacks, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tom Brady, every game he goes in, he should be favored to win at home or on the road. I'm just telling you, at this point in his NFL career, where New England is.
I like it, all the slappies who want to be quarterbacks. All right, now, Jeffrey didn't pick this, but Nikki Williams, forget the Edge. I want to know who you're picking.
Yeah, New England owns the Colts in Indy. They're 17-2-1 against the spread in the last 20 games there, so I'm taking New England.
This may be the last time Jeffrey ever takes a day off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Jeffrey. We love you very much. Come back in just a moment as we continue with football's Play to Win.
Nissan Rogue. With blind spot warning, a round view monitor, and intuitive all-wheel drive that knows just when to kick in. Choose the 2015 Nissan Rogue just $199 per month or save up to $1,250. Nissan, innovation that excites. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Tom, let's go. We're waiting for you outside.
Sorry, Larry. Just didn't feel the spark today. So many people that should have won but didn't play.
But this is Fantasy 5. It's even better now. There's larger starting jackpots.
And that new cash match instant win. Thanks for the pep talk.
You have got to stop bringing work home with you.
Point taken. Let's go give someone money.
You can't win if you don't play. So play the new and improved Fantasy 5, now with bigger starting jackpots and cash match.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's right.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, sweetie.
I'm in love.
¿Tiene novio?
Boyfriend?
It's a beautiful thing. Finally have enough space.
Por fin uno que la entiende.
He understands her, but they just met.
I'll send you a picture.
The new Toyota Corolla with the style and space you've been looking for.
Good taste.
Now get the new 2016 Corolla LE with a $159 per month lease for 2 years. Toyota, let's go places.
Today's Player Medical and Injury Report is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates. Personal injury law. Get the strong arm.
Time for the Player Medical and Injury Report. Let's go first of all to the NFL list of injuries. You'll notice the only one who is out for the season for sure is Jamal Charles. Big loss to Kansas City. And down at the bottom, Ruben Randall, Marshawn Lynch with hamstrings. Of course, the Falcons' great wide receiver Julio Jones has a hamstring and will have it all season long. And Dr. A of InsideInjuries.com joins us now. And Dr. A, there's a lot of hamstrings out there.
Yes, Bob, it is finally here. We've been unfortunately waiting for it all year long. A hamstring epidemic is infecting the NFL now. Now, we hear about x-rays all the time. This person has an x-ray negative, this person has an MRI positive, but we don't know what these things look like. Well, let's take a look at what they look like. So this is a side x-ray of the thigh. Here's the front. Here's the back. This is where the hamstring is located. Now, that same x-ray, you turn to the front. This is a frontal projection. This is where the hamstring is located. Now, the MRI, this is a side MRI. Here's the front. Here's the back. This is what normal muscle looks like. It's nice and gray, and you see this. There's all this white substance and where the arrows are pointing. This is what a grade 2 hamstring injury looks like. Everyone take a mental picture. Now, let's take a look at some report cards. Blake Bortles, he's only at a minor downgrade, but it moves him from a B to a B minus, so he moves from a low to a moderate health risk. The next player is Josh McCown, a B+ to a C. He's a significant downgrade, mainly because of the concussion this year, and the mental aspect gets affected with a concussion. The next player is Justin Forsett. Only a minor downgrade, so he's still a good start, only a mild ankle sprain. The next player is Odell Beckham Jr. Even Steven, the hamstring injury is under speculation, but doesn't seem to be as severe, so he's still at a low-risk health grade. And Ruben Randall, his counterpart, however, is a significant downgrade from an A+ to a B+ to 75% performance, mainly because the hamstring injury, as you just saw, is a little bit more severe. TJ Yeldon, A to an A- grade, only a minor downgrade, minor groin injury, however, still at a low risk. Thanks for the player report cards this week, and good luck this weekend.
All right, my hamstring is hurting now, thanks to Dr. A pointing that out. Dr. A of InsideInjuries.com. By the way, you stay with us on Play to Win, because Jeffrey the Edge picks come up next.
If you've been injured, if you or a loved one have been a victim, if you've suffered, get the upper hand. Get the strong arm.
Protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights.
In the fraction of time we spend driving in reverse, about 500,000 accidents occur each year, which is why the Infiniti QX60 has world's first safety technology available, like backup collision intervention, which can brake even before you do to help keep everyone safe. Lease the Infiniti QX60 for $399 a month. Visit your Atlanta area Infiniti retailer.
All right, it's time for the lightning round. Jeffrey not with us this week, but Nikki the Edge Williams has been handling this. The Edge. And let's go to the colleges first of all. Clemson giving up 15 at home against Boston College. Louisiana Tech getting 12.5 at Mississippi State, and Oregon slumping this year goes to Washington. Washington giving 2.5. How do you see those winners there?
Yeah, Jeffrey really listened to Dabo. He doesn't want him to go on another rant. Dabo thinks the monkey is off of their back. They are not going to be Clemsoning against Boston College, taking Clemson there, Washington, and Louisiana Tech.
All right, let's look at the National Football League now. Games that Jeffrey likes. First of all, Denver at Cleveland, Kansas City at Minnesota. He's got the home teams in those top two games, and down at the bottom, he's got the visitors, the Giants, beating the spread at Philadelphia.
Right, he's got Cleveland getting the 4 points, Minnesota giving the 3.5, and the Giants getting 4.
All right, way to go, Nikki the Edge. You've been tremendous.
I didn't have the best accent, though. I'm not from New York. I'm not hard like that.
You do a good job.
Forget about it.
Yeah, good job. Sorry, Jeffrey. Call us. We may have replaced you. All right, Chris Domino. Two big college games for both of you to do very quickly. And that is Alabama at Texas A&M, Florida at LSU. Who are you picking?
Florida, it's been nice. You're undefeated. It's over. You're not going to be undefeated anymore. I'll take LSU in that game. I can't believe I'm about to do this. Alabama's going to be knocked out of the national title contention before the third week in October. I'll take A&M.
All right, how do you see them?
Well, I like LSU to dominate. I like Leonard Fournette to run and be successful. Alabama, Texas A&M, I believe Kyle Allen's going to have a coming out party, throw the ball against a terribly weak Alabama secondary. I think A&M wins.
All right, want to remind you, you can see our shows and also all of Jeffrey's picks on playingtowin.tv. Go there. You can also get involved in the Red Pepper Taqueria You Be the Expert Challenge. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Chris Domino.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Play to Win has been brought to you by the Southeastern Nissan Dealers,
Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers,
and Estes Services.